Hello chickies, welcome to the Fully Booked Penguin channel. I am Hannah and today I am doing the end of year book tag, reading tag for 2025. First of all, welcome to 2026. It's a new year. At time of filming, it is not. We're going to jump into this book tag questionnaire thing. I was going to go through all the books, but then I was like, you know what, I can't be bothered. I've got every month has a wrap up, so you can go look at them if you need more in-depth all through the year books, but I'll just answer these questions and move on. Get on with the rest of the year, rather than dwell on the wrap-ups for 2025 too much. There are 3 videos I'm releasing this week, wrap-ups, and then 26 series I'm reading in 2026, and then the next week will be my TBR for January, and we'll go from there. We'll continue on with 2026. Hopefully have a few challenges and different things throughout the year, but here we are with the second video of the week. We're actually starting the video with my most disappointing read for 2025. My most disappointing read for 2025 was actually Penguin Highway by Tomohiko Marini. And it is a sci-fi Japanese translated fiction. And I have been really looking forward to Penguin Highway because I love penguins. I mean, my channel name even has penguin in it. And yeah, it seemed like a really cute, wacky, sort of Studio Ghibli concept. And I thought I would really enjoy it. However, when I got to it, it didn't live up to expectations because it had a few weird themes that went beyond Studio Ghibli wacky. It was unnecessary details and themes. So in Penguin Highway, we're following this really young boy, and in the town he lives in, suddenly penguins start appearing. And so he discovers that it may be tied to this female dentist. So it's him and his friends solving this whole very sci-fi wacky penguin mystery. There was just some weird points, like the little boy had a fascination with the dentist's breasts, and I didn't like that because it was creepy for whatever tiny child that this is having those thoughts and opinions. It was like an adult man writing a child with his adult male thoughts, and it was just ew. It was kind of gross. Everything else about the book I had fun with. It was slow, yes, but I enjoyed it because I had that sort of Japanese Studio Ghibli thought process in mind. But yeah, there was just a few things that I was like, oh, did you have to ruin it with all these other commentaries and observances? So yeah, that was the most disappointing. Honourable mention would be Anne of the Island by L.M. Montgomery. So this one was a bit of a surprise to me because when I initially have read the Anne of Green Gables series, I loved Anne of the Island. It was probably my favourite. But now on a reread, that wasn't necessarily the case. Anne of the Island is book 3 of the Anne of Green Gables series, and in it we are following Anne, who is an orphan. She gets adopted, and it kind of just follows her life. She's very talkative, very imaginative. She lives mostly in her imagination. But it's really a character study of different characters surrounding Anne and Anne herself. And yeah, just this historical setting on Prince Edward Island, Canada. I think the main problem was I imagined or remembered Anne of the Island as being way more romantic and cool with the relationship between Anne and Gilbert, but it kind of sucked. I ended up hating Gilbert in it, and Anne wasn't any better. So that was my secondary honourable mention. That is less honourable. So yeah, that was my most disappointing reads for 2025. The next question is, what is an underdog book you read? For this prompt, I didn't quite know what it was getting at, and so I went with the humorous answer and the accurate one for me, and that is the Pack of Dawn and Destiny series by K.M. Shea. So in this series, we are following a werewolf hunter and a werewolf pack. And so they're all wolves. Well, she's not. She's a hunter that has been adopted by this werewolf pack. And they work together when usually hunters and werewolves don't get along for some reason. But yeah, it's just a magical, fun world, and I loved the pack, and I really liked Pip and Grayson's relationship, so that's the hunter and the alpha of the pack. The werewolves were more puppy dogs than anything else. Well, are they werewolves or like wolf shifters? I think they're more technically called. Werewolves is they still retain their kind of human form, but in this they shift fully into a wolf, so I think it's a shifter, but who knows? I don't know the technicality terms. I just read the series and loved it. So that's, yeah, my underdog series for 2025. Next we have books that you thought were overhyped in 2025. I have a few honorable mentions or dishonorable mentions, and that is I've been reading through the Harry Potter books, and I don't get the absolute love and adoration and cult following that it has. I can see that it's somewhat cool, and I know I'm over the age of the target audience, but even if I was a kid, I don't think I would have been super into it. It's not my cup of tea. And then Throne of Glass, I've also been reading, and it's just not my kind of book. But the main answer that I have for this question is The Midnight Library by somebody. Matthew Haig. It was all over BookTube. A lot of people loved it, but I didn't see what was good about it. It was slow. It had some really weird and wacky things going on. It was depressing. Me personally, I didn't feel it. Sort of the commentary on depression and that was really any good. I mean, I understand there's different themes of depression, but I also just, yeah. In it, we are following a lady who decides she wants to die, and so she dies, but before she passes to the other side, she enters this library where she can go and sort of undo her mistakes and see what life would be like at this exact point in time if she had made that different choice. And most of the time she still would have been worse off, and that to me was even more depressing. Anyway, I didn't feel it was worth all the hype that it was getting. Maybe I have a different strain of depression like experience, but by the end of the book I was more depressed. If I wasn't a Christian, I would be like, yeah, I don't see that life is worth living after this book. Next up, I have a book that surprised me, and I'm actually putting Anne of Avonlea by Ellen Montgomery on the list. The first time I read this book, it wasn't super attached, but now that I'm older and I could relate to some of the older characters, I enjoyed this one so much. I felt it was relatable and everything was whimsical and, yeah, relevant to what I feel in life, and everything, yeah, retained its imaginative prose and sort of about lightness despite life trying to get them down kind of thing. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book way more in the Anne series. As I say, she's just a little bit older. I believe she's teaching at school, Anne is, and she just has a few different visits to people around Avonlea. Loved this book, which was surprising because I thought it wouldn't be one of my favorites, but now it is my favorite of the series so far. The next one is a really fun question, and that is my favorite couple or couples. And coming in for a reappearance on the list is Yona and Huck from Yona of the Dawn, which follows Yona, who is a princess, and she's a bit naive, but then her father, the king, is murdered, and the throne is usurped by someone close to Yona who betrays her, and then she has to run away with her bodyguard, Huck, and she collects all these allies and dragon people and different things to help her country, which she realizes wasn't in such a great state as she thought it was. Yona and Huck in this, I am up to volume 32, so I've read 31 volumes of the manga, and I just love their relationship development. It is a slower one because you've got a lot of fantasy and political plots happening at the same time, so it's a slow sort of development, but I love a slow burn sort of friends to lovers scenario, and yeah, they are so cute together in the manga, and hopefully now we'll get it in the anime too, with season 2 coming, so that's exciting stuff. The other honorable mentions I have are Elizabeth and Darcy from Pride and Prejudice. What can I say? They both have a lot of growth to their characters throughout the book and the movies, but in the book you can see more of the growth from Darcy and him getting over his different things and her realizing her own faults and misconceptions. And yeah, I adore those two. It's a classic pairing, really, from Pride and Prejudice. I love it. And then third, a new entry into the favourite couples is Pip and Grayson from Pack of Dawn and Destiny trilogy by K.M. Shea. I just love them. I do think the romance could have been fleshed out more or focused on a bit more in the series, but I still love their relationship because Grayson is just a big fluffy golden retriever, really, towards Pip throughout the series, and Pip is a strong female lead, but she does also soften up towards the pack and Grayson as well. It's cute and fluffy. Next up we have my favourite character. It had to go to Cale Hennitus from Lout of Count's family. I was sitting there looking through all the books and I couldn't pass up. He is my favourite. He's a little redhead lout. He's caring and a great ally, even though his personality is very unique. But he's handsome and he has a dragon, so what more could you want in a male main character? He's from Lout of Count's family, or Trash of the Count's family, and he is the main character, obviously, and it is by Yu Rong-han, and it is a Korean light novel series, fantasy isekai scenario. He transmigrates into a book series that he read 5 volumes of, and he discovers that he is this secondary sort of side villain that the main character of the book bashes up very early on, and he comes from a rich family and he decides he doesn't want to get bashed up, so he collects allies and resources and protective powers in order to 1, not get bashed up, 2, not get hurt, 3, accumulate wealth, and 4, avoid taking part in a war that's coming. He just wants to stand on the sidelines in his rich little life. But he has to put in measures so that his family's land doesn't get taken over and he doesn't have to go to battles or anything. But in doing so, he takes part in battles and collects all the main characters and sets up all these allies. He's such a fun, lovable, cute character, and all the allies adoring him is so funny. So yeah, he is my favourite main character. My favourite secondary character is actually going to go to Shin-Ah, or the Blue Dragon from Yona of the Dawn. A lot of Yona being shown here, but here's my little lad. I've already told you what this series Yona is about, but in it you discover the 4 dragons. So there's a green dragon who has really strong legs, you have a white dragon who has like a claw arm, you have a blue dragon who has really good eyesight and may have more powers as well, and then you have 4th dragon, which is the golden dragon, and he is immortal. So Blue Dragon, he's just adorable. He is, and he doesn't speak much in the series. He's got a little pet chipmunk squirrel called Ao, and he's really caring, and yeah, he's adorable. He's really strong as well, which definitely helps. I attached myself to him immediately when I watched the anime, and immediately when I continued with reading the manga. That's a cute side character, and my favourite. Next up we have, what is the happiest book you read? And I've got to say, Skip Beat. I was trying to look over my list. I'm like, there were happy moments, but the happiest. Like, you cannot go past the joy of this series. And yeah, Skip Beat by Yoshiki Nakamura is at number 1 because we are following a girl who gets betrayed by her childhood friend who she liked, and he is a singer, very popular now, but she actually financed him getting to that point, and then he abandoned her and was really cruel about it. And so she, in order to garner revenge, joins the acting business, and so she aims to become really, really famous, more famous than him, and make him realize what he did wrong, kind of thing. And she also bumps into a really famous actor, Suruga Ren, and in meeting him, he realizes she's out for revenge, and he doesn't like it. He doesn't appreciate that she's using the showbiz and acting, which he has a very serious take on, for her little revenge that he finds dumb. Once he discovers the details, he might not think it's quite so dumb, but they have a tie from the past, and that definitely helps. But in the beginning, they are a little antagonistic towards each other, let's put it that way. But Kyoko, our main character, she really develops her acting skills and loves creating characters, and she's really a natural at acting. but she's also missing the most important part, which is the desire to be loved or love. She's like, platonic love, she does it in spades, and that's what makes it so happy and fun. But romantic love, she believes, is the death of the world. She would rather the world go extinct than her love again, but I'm sure she will. But yeah, it's just a funny, goofy series, and I love and adore it, so it definitely fits the happiness box completely. After the favourites and the happiness, we now get to most frustrating and then the most sad book. So the most frustrating book of the year was A Girl's Guide to the Outback by Jessica Kate. And this is a contemporary Christian romance. And it's set partially in the USA and partially in Australia. And I have a reading vlog for this one, so I won't go into too much. But it frustrated me a lot because I saw some patterns in the book that really match the patterns of the church today. And as a Christian, I get so frustrated by those points because it turns the church into abusive power that only thinks of money and doesn't appreciate or look after its people, which it should. But unfortunately, in some churches today, not all, but some churches just do that, and it frustrates me no end. The romance in it was just not there either, and the male lead and his family, I just wanted the female main character to just leave it all behind, just in the dust, gone, because they were so insufferable. So that one was the most ranty / frustrating book of the year. And then the saddest book of the year was actually From Billabong to London by Mary Grant Bruce. In this, we are following a Australian family, and the father is the master of a station. So they run cattle mostly with a few sheep, and then they have horses, and it's set in the early 1900s, and this one was set during the First World War. So it's near the beginning, and the son and his best friend, they want to enlist, and the father has business in England to go to. So because Wally, who is the best friend, he's too young to enlist in Australia, they decide they'll all go to England to enlist and be at the war front pretty much immediately. Whereas if you enlist elsewhere, there's a delay, and as they sort of decide who goes where and all that sort of stuff. And it was just really sad because I hate war novels, or I get really sad by war novels and anxious because of the whole sending young boys and men off to war and the family not knowing if they ever come back, and then death and injury and PTSD and all that coming into play. I mean, it was set more as an adventure, but it was still sad, and the next few novels are also war novels. So I only see that it's going to be super duper sad and I will be crying my way through 2026. So that was, yes, my saddest read of 2025. Next up, we have the longest and shortest books, which is really simple. And so the longest book I read this year was Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas, and it was 562 pages long. I felt every second of this long book. No, Heir of Fire is book 3 or 4 of the Throne of Glass series, and it is a upper YA fantasy. It follows a female assassin and a whole cast of princes and guards and fae and witches and all that across a very complex fantasy plot. But this one was the biggest book I read this year. And luckily I buddy read it, so it wasn't super difficult to get through in the end because I audio and buddy read it. So I had someone to talk to about each chapter. And then we get to the shortest book of the year, and that is Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. And this is a classic. It's a children's book. And it's weird as heck, but I enjoyed it. It was just a stream of nonsense, and really none of it was put together at all. But it was amusing. So that was the shortest. I don't know how many pages there are, like 54 or something. It's really, really short because it's a kid's book. Next up, we have the prettiest covers of the year, and that goes again to Out of Count's Family by Yu Rohan. They all feature Kale, they all feature the dragon, and they are all gorgeous. I love illustrations on my covers, and sort of not cartoon, but yeah, detailed artwork. So this is completely in line with the kind of covers that I love. I enjoy collecting them all. I think after book 3 they changed the artist, but it's still great. In fact, dare I say it's a little bit better after book 3. Just more detailed rather than more anime style. It's a little more detailed. It's just super satisfying to see them all together, and the colour is always a little red because of our redhead Kale. Next up, we have a book you haven't stopped thinking about, and I have chosen Villains Are Destined to Die series by Gwon Kyo-il, and the art is by Suwol. And then the author also has a light novel series that's being slowly released in the English translation as well. In it, we are following a girl who finds herself in a game, and it's a romance game, so you have different targets to romance, but she doesn't come in as the heroine, she comes in as the villain, and when you play as the villain, it is on hard mode, so every single person you meet could kill you. And she decides that now she's Penelope, who is the daughter of a duke, and the villainess of the series, she is going to try and survive and find her way back out of the game, because she actually had just escaped her abusive family in the real world, and now she finds herself as Penelope with an annoying abusive family again. So she's like, well, I want to get out of here. So she has to romance or gain affinity with one of the targets and get to 100 or something. And so we have several options for the romance options, but I'm going for the Crown Prince Callisto, who's a bit murderous, but he only murders people that are trying to murder him, so it's self-defense. And meanwhile, her family are flippin' annoying, but the Duke and the youngest brother are growing on me, so I'm sure they'll be right. But the eldest brother, we do not like him, and we will never like. I can't see myself ever liking that man, but we shall see. Next up, we have the cringiest book of the year, and it goes to An Improper Scheme by Audra Wells. In this, I believe it's the third book in the Improper Arrangements series or something like that. In it, we are following a couple. So the girl, she loves romance and she wants to get married to someone of status, and meanwhile, the male lead is trying to get his sister married to someone good, but he's also been asked to just keep an eye on the FMC to make sure she doesn't get in trouble. Now, most of the book was actually okay, but towards the end, it's revealed that our main girl has been working with the sister to make up some tales about the male main character. They lie about him and make up all these things, and then people hear those lies, and as it happens with gossip, the tales get even more out of hand. And so that whole situation is so cringe, but then the guy finds out, of course, and he lashes out by being cruel in a different manner towards our main girl, and I hated him for that because that was also cringe. And then the way they resolve it is so nonsensical. It may involve amnesia, but not really, a collapse and a nursing to health, and just so all over the place. So yeah, it ended up a very cringe read. I enjoyed the first part, then I discovered the facts of the situation and disliked the second half. Next up, we have an unpopular book that you loved. And I didn't know quite what the question was getting at, whether it meant the lowest rated book, but I rated it a bit higher, or whether it meant like the least reviewed book that I read and I loved. If we're going by lowest rating, I actually have two, and that is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson, and then Newt's Emerald by Garth Nix. And so they have, I think it's above 3, but definitely not super high rating, and I gave them both a 4. I actually really enjoyed the tale. They weren't super complex, but they were both just really fun. You can check my review video or my upcoming library reading video for both of them for more details about what they're about and everything. But yeah, so they're my lowest rated that I rated pretty good, and then the least rated, as in the one with the least ratings that I really enjoyed, was A Stepmother's Mission, volume number 5 by Spice and Katie and Walker. This one here. And I loved it. Because it's a historical fantasy slash romance manhwa with a time loop trope and everything. I think just people don't really know much about it. I'm sure if I was in Korea, people would know. Or anyone who reads manhwa, they'd know about the series. But the typical Goodreads reviewers and stuff, there aren't that many of them. And I really wish manhwas and that were more popular because they are so fun, got such depth. But yeah, they're only started to get released and translated, but the more we get, the better the scenario becomes. Next up, we have the highest and then the lowest rated books that you read. And so for the highest rated book that I read, it has to go to Yona of the Dawn, volume 30. And I agreed, it is just the best. It's so good. That volume of Yona of the Dawn, impeccable. There might be a certain scene in it which makes it everyone's favorites. That may involve Yona and Hug, so it's just cute. And then for the lowest rated, we have A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Saft. And I, again, agree with that rating. I DNF'd it. So clearly I'm in agreement with someone. Then we have a book with the most unique concept. And again, Skip Beat is the one with the most unique concept. With Skip Beat, it's a contemporary manga which has acting business and creating characters and all that sort of stuff in it. So I do feel that it fulfills the unique concept, because you find a lot of like school mangas or different things like that in the shoujo genre as well as fantasy and all that, but a contemporary series about actors and the showbiz world. There's plenty about singers and bands and all that, but as for the acting world, there's less of them. And finally, we have what books would you reread in 2026 or beyond, and that is going to be any of my manhwa and light novels. I mean, I bought them for a reason. I love to reread, and they're super easy to reread as well. But I also have another funny answer. That is The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. If you've been following the channel, that will make you laugh because I have been mentioning it for about a billion years. No, ever since I finished the book, or even before I finished the book the first time, I've been saying that I'm going to do a reread and a scenario / video, and it's just we haven't got there. Not at all. And I am completely at fault for that. So I do want to reread that one and get to that video at some point. It doesn't specify a time I have to reread that reread in. And that brings us to the end of year book tag. A lot of manga and manhwa on this and light novels, but they are my life and they are my favorites. If some Western books want to take advice and themes from Korea and Japan, I would be happy to read those books. And in fact, if you know of any books that take in the plot and the themes and the non-spicy vibes of light novels or that sort of thing, please tell me about them, because I will devour them whole. Please let me know. Please recommend me, because I will 100% read those books. Alright, so that's a wrap on this tag. Thank you for watching if you made it all the way through. And I shall see you all in the next video, which is going to be a 26 series for 2026. So that's exciting. But I'll see you in that one. If not before, hopefully I see you in the comments. And until next time, peace.
T26